blessings, all my blessings, all my blessings, all my blessings.
I need my blessings every penny. Daily counting every single one, I'm seeing plenty. Level up and watch that beat it turn into a Bentley. See I'm stunned.
Welcome to the Michael Welch Podcast and a happy NBA Finals. So let's get into it here. The favorites, Boston Celtics, are up 2-1, having won the first 2 games at home, of course, with their 64-18 regular season record, hosting the games at home so far to begin the playoffs here, the finals here. Now, Kristaps Porzingis did indeed come back for the finals. He didn't start in the lineup. It was Al Horford that started at the 5 position. Coming off the bench was KP. And he initially played 19 seconds in the first before subbing back out, which was a little interesting. But when he did come back in, he still absolutely devastated in the first quarter of Game 1. A block, 3 boards, and 11 points made his presence really known. And we had the biggest deficit in a Game 1 after the first quarter with a 37-20 lead for the Boston Celtics. Defensively, he absolutely shut down that dunker spot that Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford occupy as lob threats for Luka. And he just absolutely limited what they could do on that side of things. 0 lobs, according to the advanced numbers for Luka and gang there. And also no corner threes in this one. We'll get to that in just a second here. But 2 of the main offensive weapons for the Dallas Mavericks, not on the menu here in Game 1 against the Boston Celtics. Corner threes and those dunker spot lobs, just completely taken off the menu there by the Boston Celtics, in part because of what Kristaps was able to offer. Now, Luka Doncic, 8 for Dallas on the game. As far as assists, Luka had 1 of them. That was just absolutely incredible. 8 assists. That's incredibly difficult to do. That was one of the big standout stats on the game. For comparison, 9 blocks for the Celtics. So as a team, the Celtics outblocked the assist numbers of the Dallas Mavericks. The Celtics pushed the lead all the way up to 29 in the second quarter. It looked like they were absolutely going to run away with the game. Made sense from a viewer's perspective at that point. Really unfortunate that the game was going the way that it was at that particular point. Not necessarily shocking that the Celtics had the ability to really completely envelope and shut down what the Dallas Mavericks wanted to do on the offensive side of things. We knew that Celtics had that ability, but just unfortunate that it certainly looks like the finals, even from the first half of Game 1, could really be just a really boring set. So still looks that way at the moment there through 2 games. Halftime score was 63-42. Luka had 7 points and an 11-5 run to close it down a little bit there just before half. Giving you a little thought at the time that, hey, at least Luka's involved in this. Luka's putting up some points. And, he was grimacing at times in this game, went down several times. He was actually listed as questionable for Game 2 with a rib injury. So it just really sucked to see him just constantly banged up. Knew it could be a physical game. And chances were, coming into the series, that they were going to kind of allow him to do damage and kind of try to limit what everyone else was doing. And right now, Celtics have the ability to kind of both make things difficult for Luka and indeed shut everyone else down around him. Nevertheless, heading into the second half of Game 1, Mavs ripped off a 22-9 run over the first 8 minutes of the third quarter. cut the game down to 8 points after that 29-point Celtics lead. So it was 72-64. Luka was feeling pretty good again. Again, he was 30 points, led all scorers in this game. And the second leading scorer for the Mavs was PJ Washington with 14 points. So 30 points for Luka, 14 points for PJ Washington. Washington was actually the second leading scorer in game 2 as well, but just a poor shooting performance across the board. So Luka's obviously been the supernova. We could have the rare situation like we did with the legend, the icon, where we have an MVP from a team that's the loser of the NBA Finals. That only happened to Jerry West back in the 50s in one of the Celtics series that they played. A handful when the Celtics and the Lakers played each other in those games against Bill Russell. And the icon there, Jerry West, was actually named the Finals MVP of one of those teams. Not an award that he appreciated for sure. So is there a chance that Luka could win a Finals MVP even if they lose? Only the second time that's ever happened. Nevertheless, cutting the lead down to 8 in game 1, third quarter. Celtics then basically just put the game away. Pushed lead back to 20 points before the third quarter even ended, the last 4 minutes of the third. It was 86-66 at the end of the frame there. 18-point win to finish there, 107-89, of course. Large portions of this game, you could kind of almost tune out. I made the unfortunate decision of going to watch this game at a bar that did not have the sound on, and unfortunate seating situation. Just one of these games where it was not as important in Michigan to a lot of folks to watch this game, so I had to watch, portions of this for note-taking purposes later on. Nevertheless, in rewatch, you could skip parts of this. It just wasn't, there's not as much nuance to the game, let's say. Luka finished with 30 points, 4 threes. The rest of the team combined for 3 threes. Again, those corner pocket shots where the 3 line is shorter, not there. In part because the Celtics were able to shut that lane down, and in part because they just weren't going in for the Dallas Mavericks. Irving did finish with 12 points. PJ Washington, 14 points and 8 rebounds. Derek Jones, 5 points, 6 rebounds. Gafford, 8 and 3 in 14 minutes. Now, 18 minutes for Lively. He only had 2 points, 5 boards. He was in foul trouble early. Looked frustrated, but again, those easy lobs going away really hurt the team. And Lively, again, first-year player here. Have to kind of keep that in mind. The team as a whole was 7 for 27. That's 25.9% shooting from 3 and 41.7% from the field. Only 63% free throw shooting. That's 19 for 12. They were just not very effective getting their free throws either. Off the bench, they did give Jaden Hardy some run. He scored 13 points, but a lot of garbage time for him, and he was not given much run at all in game 2, so they did not feel that he was effective in their offensive game plan. Maxi Kleber, they're excited to have him back, and he was not effective at all. 18 minutes, Josh Green, 20 minutes, just not effective players off the bench at all, and just a collapse offensively, really, for the Mavericks, who just had a very difficult time. Luka ball. That's all it was. Luka ball the way through. Celtics were the first team to have 7 players hit multiple threes in a finals game. Now, Tatum did not explode offensively. 16 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 turnovers, 3 threes. Brown did excellent, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a couple threes for him. White, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks, 3 steals, 3 threes. Holiday, 12 points, 5 assists, a couple threes. Horford, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 2 threes. Porzingis, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks, 2 threes. Again, very effective in that first quarter to kind of kick things off. He ended up playing 21 minutes altogether. Now, the other guys off the bench that got a little bit more time, of course, Sam Hauser, 8 points and 4 rebounds and a couple threes for him. He was very effective. Pritchard was not able to hit any shots, 0 for 7 from the field. Altogether, they were 38% from 3 and 47.6% field goal shooters. They also shot less than 70% from the free throw line, 13 for 19. Just kind of strange there as well. Brown missed a couple of late free throws. He's a very bizarre player sometimes, whether it's turnover problems or missed free throws, just a weird dude sometimes. On the other hand, you have Tatum, great rebounder, help facilitating shots. They are double teaming him and making it difficult for him, just as the size on the other side of things are making shooting very difficult for Kyrie. He's also just not hitting outside shots. But back to Tatum, just not having great shooting nights. 6 for 16. He led the team in field goal attempts. Second was Jaylen Brown, again, 16 attempts for Tatum, 6 for 16, 12 for Brown, 7 for 12. I guess Porzingis had 13. He was 8 for 13. So still a high volume of shot attempts for him, and still just a great scoring performance across the board. He's, after game 1, it looked like the MVP could have gone to pretty much anyone. So as we settled into game 2 then, so Lively moved to the bench for the Dallas Mavericks, and Gafford moved into the starting lineup. Porzingis was still coming off the bench as well as Al Horford was starting. Both teams shot horrifically last night. Mavs 47.5% from the field, much better in that respect, but 23% from 3, 6 for 26, and only 66% again from the free throw line. It's just absurd. The Celtics shot 45% from the field. That's actually a little bit down, but still a good percentage. 25.6% from 3. It's 10 for 39. So struggled mightily in that area and still managed to pull the game out. 19 for 20 from the free throw line at 95%. For the math majors out there. Kyrie sucked again shooting. 7 for 18. 16 points altogether. Got mobbed in the paint. Just couldn't hit again outside. And I sent a GIF to a friend of mine. A meme, I suppose. And had the over on just Derek Jones Jr. finally hitting a 3. 0.1. You just had to hit 1 3. That's where the numbers are on the sports books, and he was 0 for 3 through about 3 quarters in this game. He finished 0 for 3, actually. And just the number of times you had Kyrie Irving or Luka Doncic in particular trying to force a play and driving into multiple defenders in the paint, or you had someone standing on the perimeter who just was struggling to hit a shot, not trusted to kick out to that player, was quite frustrating. And Derek Jones is one of those guys not trusted to knock down a shot, particularly later in the game. But I shot a meme of Stanley looking, not saying anything, but with eyebrows kind of furrowed to a friend of mine, because we took the over. We just needed 1 3-pointer from Derek Jones, and they weren't even passing to him when he was open at the 3 line late in the game. Nevertheless, lots of driving into the paint, and just not very effective there later in the game. Luka did end up scoring 32 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists, so he was able to facilitate. But again, the 3-point shooting numbers just not there. Guys just not able to hit. Again, he alone had more threes than the rest of the team combined. He had 4 by himself again. The rest of the team had, what were we at? 2 of them? Jeez, oh Pete's. That's just wild. Anyways, just Luka ball again, Luka-centric. He did get going very early in the first quarter. They did go up 28-25 after the first, which give you a bit of a thought that they could possibly win the game here, of course. But again, shooting just an issue. 9 points off the bench for Dallas altogether was not good. Kleber, Green, Hardy weren't very productive again, and Dante Exum had some run, just to give him a little bit different body type, a little bit different set of skills out there, with some ball movement and shooting as well. Lively, again, not very effective. Gafford had 13 points and 9 rebounds, but not a lot of shot blocking there. I did finally get a couple lobs to go on the offensive side. PJ Washington was the second leading scorer with 17 points. Again, Porzingis coming off the bench, played 23 minutes. He had 12 points, 4 rebounds, a couple of blocks, but it looked like he kind of hurt himself in the third quarter, and he didn't come back. There haven't been any big breaking reports about that, about what happened. Is he seriously injured? Is that something we have to worry about moving forward? I would assume that it's not right now. It was noted that he was on the exercise bike, so maybe he's just something was a little ginger there. Hopefully he's okay. You couldn't tell from the replay that anything severe happened. If he's out or inhibited moving forward, of course, that can make things more difficult for the Boston Celtics. This was, however, game 2, a big night for the point guard, Mr. Drew Holiday. Not that he was extending his abilities and really putting the pressure on himself, unlike Mr. Luka Doncic on the other side of things, but he was the leading scorer and a big playmaker for the team. He went off for 26 points on 11 for 14 shooting. He also had 11 rebounds. Just a huge day for Mr. Drew Holiday there. Tatum actually struggled a bit again. 1 for 7 from 3, 6 for 22 shooting. Had 18 points, 9 rebounds, 12 assists. So able to contribute to getting shots to his gentlemen, his folks on that side. Brown had 21 points, 7 rebounds, 6 turnovers. That's more the Jaylen Brown that we know, that's for sure. White had 4 3-pointers to finish with 18 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks, including that big one there at the end on PJ Washington. Pritchard had a half-court heave for a 3-pointer. That was his first point of the series so far. He and Hauser was 0 for 5. So talked about the struggles of them in game 1 there. Just not a lot of great contribution. The 8 guys played in this game. It looks like it's pretty much what it's going to be for the Celtics. Porzingis coming off the bench. Maybe he'll replace Horford at one point. Obviously, this injury may affect things. Coming off the bench may not be the worst situation for him either. Then Hauser and Pritchard are going to be, from the looks of it, a little bit of inconsistent shooting coming off the bench at this particular point. Now, the biggest lead for Boston wasn't that great. It was by, 11 points? The Dallas obviously had the early lead there. Their biggest lead was 7. The biggest lead for Boston was 14, so it was not 29, something that almost seemed insurmountable for the Dallas Mavericks to come back. It was 83-74 heading into the fourth quarter. Again, you didn't like the shooting from either team, particularly from the perimeter, which is what these, especially the Boston Celtics, like to hit. As a key part of their offense there. Drew Holiday, though, just crushing in the paint. Porzingis, you weren't sure of his status heading into the fourth quarter. Luka looked like he was doing quite well. Irving still hadn't hit a 3, still hasn't hit a 3 for the entire series. Derek Jones is struggling. PJ Washington 1 for 5 from 3. So just a struggle still, but it looked like a good ball game going into the fourth quarter. Now the Mavs cut the game all the way down to 5 points, 103-98, when Derrick Jones Jr. blocked a Tatum drive, and the Mavs are moving the other direction for a layup to make it a 1-point game there with about a minute to go. 50.1 seconds is when the block is officially tallied. Derek White's block on PJ Washington, punching his layup away, and really making things interesting there. Now, Jaylen Brown also went up at the same time to push the ball away, and you could fully see where he put his hand on PJ Washington's back. Looks like he gave him a little push there. It was not called. It would have been interesting had it been called, right? Because PJ Washington would have gone to the line for 2 free throws to possibly cut the game to 3 points with 50 seconds remaining. Instead, not called. 5-point game, rebounded by Drew Holiday, and Jaylen Brown goes the other direction and is able to get a score, and the lead goes to 7 with a 29 seconds remaining on the clock. So just like that, Dallas goes down 2-0, not able to score, and able to, they let the clock run out basically with the Celtics. They don't play the foul game. Kind of weird. I think, I don't know that it's going to get much play around the horn per se, on the talking heads, on ESPN and such. But I think it's strange to not at least play the foul game out, even if you're down 7 points in the last minute, but to allow the Celtics to run 24 of the last 25 seconds of the game out. This is why you're here. You play the game out for weird anomalies. Even if you have a 5% chance to win, down 7 with the ball in the opposing team's hands with 20-something seconds left, you have a 0% chance to win if you allow them to take the clock down and don't play that method. So just seems very strange to not at least give it a go there, especially knowing that Brown can miss free throws, there's troubles with some of the other guys there, Horford at times. So even though they were 19 for 20 in this particular game, it would be something if late the Celtics, particularly with the pressure they've been feeling and their past of having 60% free throw shooting nights, like in game 1, would start to miss late, and Luka would possibly have an opportunity to hit some 3 balls. But that did not happen, right? Instead, we did get a close game here towards the very end, although very strongly leaning Celtics for the series. And at this point, you kind of just hope that Dallas can keep this interesting and really at least sneak a game in here, because it's such a dominating performance defensively by the Celtics. The Mavs are not playing bad defensively either, as we see Tatum really struggling. Luka's getting just bodies thrown at him as well and is able to kind of play through it. And criticism is going to be thrown at Tatum's way for not being able to score or be quite as effective, especially in comparison to Luka Doncic, who, for example, ended up at least by box score numbers, right? 12 for 21 in this game, 4 for 9 from 3. He did miss 4 free throws, which is pretty astounding. And is able to still get the distribution stats, the rebounds, the triple-double, while Tatum, 9 rebounds, 12 assists again, and is not quite able to hit the shots. He did hit one big 3 finally, an open 3 look, after getting challenged multiple times in the looks that I saw, at least 1 for 7 from 3. So just, again, he's sitting in that status where he's not, I don't think, a superstar, but sitting at the top of the star heap, at least as far as effective players. But at this point, so is Jaylen Brown, who's performing very, very well. Derek White just continues to reach new plateaus. Holiday, might be the most effective all-around player on the floor. Horford logged 28 minutes. It's probably too many minutes for him, quite frankly. But Porzingis, they still seem to be kind of easing him in. And we'll see if he's banged up or not. Hopefully that's not the case. But it'd be nice to have a good final series. It just looks like that's not going to happen. Effectiveness off the bench has not been there for Dallas, as they're still trying to find a mix between Hardy, Exum, Green, Kleber, and then, of course, Gafford and Lively are basically not quite interchangeable, but are, depending on who you want to put in the sixth starter, really. And, of course, the Celtics, whether it's Hauser or Pritchard, not very effective on their bench either, but they run 6 very strong, deep, two-way players with Tatum, Horford, Holiday, White, Brown, and KP, of course. So it'd be great to see this, of course, run a little longer here towards the back of the month of June. Some more finals action. It just horribly sucks to be watching the NBA playoffs and to be committed to this for such a long period of time and then wait for 2 days in between for another game, especially when you get some just not very good shooting nights and some blowouts, like game 1 here. But it'd be nice if Dallas can really show us something in game 3. I don't really know what that's going to look like, and it would be too bad if it's at the cost of Porzingis' health. But I sure hope Kyrie Irving is able to find his way, just hitting some shots, finding angles through these long defenders, finding some way to get him open, continuing to hit shots for PJ Washington, finding some way to get contributions from Derek Jones, and being efficient with Gafford, continuing to find some lobs there for him. Lively might be just straight out of the series. I don't know. Maybe they can find space for Exum to make some plays as well. It would just be nice to find another truly effective scorer to Luka Doncic, and that is just not happening, and it may very well not happen. But they did not play very well again, and they were still in this game. The Celtics also struggled from 3 at least, and this was just, you could still see where there's elements on both sides to really mix this up a little bit. But at the end, the horses and the effective players really stacked on the Boston Celtics side. Game 3 is Wednesday in Dallas, an 8:30 tip. So I'll be talking to you again after that game at the back end of the week here. It looks like it's 1.5 points Dallas's way right now. So we'll see if they can get a big victory and some inclusion by Kyrie Irving on the scoring end there. And we'll see if Kristaps Porzingis will be playing as well, or if the Celtics are going to do some real damage here and start to pull away in this series. So game 3 on Wednesday night, and I'll talk to you after that. Thank you very much.
All my blessings.
I need my blessings, every penny. Daily counting every single one, I'm seeing plenty. Level up and watch that beater turn into a Bentley. See, I'm stunning, so I'm all I'm thinking, please don't tell me.